We've got some
Hey,
fresh new
I'm
young
Luis.
talent
And
doing some
I'm
things that I
Luis.
know you haven't
And you're
heard
listening to the
before.
Content is Profit podcast. Episode 202, getting closer to the 300th episode. Really fancy, yeah. Hey, 98 to go. Here we go. And today we bring you a really good friend we met through our Podmax family, and later he had us over on his podcast, The Accidental Entrepreneur.
That is right. And we had an incredible time. He is an incredible podcaster. I hope you're ready for some golden boulders as he'll share his experience on how podcasting has helped him build key relationships within his law practice.
Not to mention that he is an incredible and valuable advisor for many entrepreneurs and small businesses. He's consistently helping business owners make better decisions and improve their chances of success. So if you want some legal advice, you know who to call, baby.
That is right. I feel like we're going to have to do some disclaimer here at some point. We'll see about that. But please welcome host of The Accidental Entrepreneur, owner of Bain Hacker Law, and new college dad, Mitch Bain Hacker.
Hey guys,
What's
listen, I
up?
just want to clarify. I'm not a new college dad. This is my second kid going to college.
Oh, look at that.
Let's
so,
go.
so you're a veteran at this point.
Yeah.
Come
kind
on,
of,
Fonzie, get your facts straight.
I know,
mean, we're just chatting behind cameras, right? And you were telling us all this crazy story on how you guys dropped your daughter off yesterday, like this, SUV plus the trailer, and
Yeah.
driving back at 2 a.m. So thank you so much
I
for
know,
making
no
it.
problem. I wouldn't miss seeing you guys. And I've learned that all different colleges do it better or worse. This one did not do it better. So
This not doing better. Yeah,
That's awesome.
feedback. So if you're that college, you know what to do. Anyway, Mitch, first of all, wonderful experience we had on your show. Thank
Yeah,
you
it
so
was
much
great.
for having us last week. We had such a blast. So guys, please go ahead and go follow The Accidental Entrepreneur. There's incredible energy, incredible value that Mitch is providing there with your team and in that interview, us obviously. Anyways, enough
Yeah.
about us. Tell us about you, Mitch. Tell me a little bit of your backstory.
Sure.
Why helping businesses? Why business law? And then later, why publishing? Right? I think that's a super interesting mix.
Okay, well, we'll get to the publishing last. So I've been an entrepreneur since I was a kid. I used to have businesses during the summers, and I used to, make fishing rods and tennis rackets. And I had a detailing business through high school, which I sold from it to college. We had a DJ business we bought from in my fraternity. There was a DJ company. The guys were graduating, so we bought the company from them. It was, we changed the name actually to Shut Up and Dance, which was kind of fun.
Yes.
And we used to spin, in those days we actually had records. Vinyl's kind of back now, but it was gone for a while. So we were spinning records at fraternity and sorority parties. We would go to different colleges. I was up in Cornell, so it was upstate New York. We used to drive around and do stuff. So I sold that. And then I've always been interested in business and planning and all that kind of stuff. So when I went to law school, I went to law school really because I didn't know what to do after college. So I was with a buddy of mine one night, and he's like, I think I'm going to law school. And I was like, okay, I'll go to law school too. So then 2 weeks later, he bailed on law school. He's now in the real estate business. And I decided that I would take my dying grandmother's wish to go to law school. By the way, that's guys, when you're Jewish and you have a grandmother, that's her dying wish, is that you go to law school or medical school.
So it has
So
to
I
happen.
was not good at science. So I went to medical school. I went to law school, and in law school, I became interested in tax and planning and small business. And, one thing led to another. I came out of law school and I got jobs working for some law firms, some financial planning firms. My father's been in the life insurance business for a long time. I went to work with life insurance companies doing a lot of planning. And usually those guys, there's a lot of planning that goes on around the products that they sell. So I was traveling around the country talking to different groups around the country about charitable planning and estate planning and business planning, all kinds of stuff. So it just kind of, worked its way. And now 30 years later, I've been practicing. So my practice now is really just a solo practice. I've had partners over the years, but solo practice. I work with, small business owners, helping them, start, form, grow, merge, bring in new partners, retire, sell, all that type of stuff. And I still do a lot of the estate planning too. So I handle their estate planning that kind of fits within they're planning, whether it's partners or business owners or brothers or family businesses, and it's all kind of fits together. But I don't go to court with very limited exception unless I'm in handcuffs, and so you don't want me representing you in court.
Yeah, we don't want that.
Yeah.
So
That's
Mitch,
not what
like
it
how I'm curious, like we can talk a little bit about the business law, because I think
Sure.
you're the first person that we bring to the show on this topic. When we started the business about 6 years ago, this was probably the last thing in our minds, right? Like on our minds, we're like, we don't even. I didn't have an idea like this even existed for that, like because we're not looking that.
My only experience with business law has been
school.
a class that I took in the
So-
community college that I went to.
Yeah, you probably learned a lot more than you think you learned.
Yeah. Who knows? I mean, the grades didn't reflect that. Let me tell you, unfortunately. But yeah, so in here, I'm like, dude, I want to learn so much more about this.
Yeah, so I'm curious, right? Because now 6 years down the road, we've obviously we started super bootstrap. We were just in an interview, and this is the story that we're sharing. But as we increase our resources, right, then we hire an accountant, and we do this, and we do tax planning and XYZ things that have grown quite a bit, right? And from 6 years ago. Now, why is this so important for a business owner, right? Like a small business owner, if you're forming a partnership. Obviously, my partnership with Fonzie here, we're 50-50,
right?
Even though I do like 80% of the job. No, I'm kidding. Fonzie does more than I do. But why is this so important? Why does a small business owner has to keep an eye on this?
Okay, and I'll preface my remarks in saying that I'm barred in New Jersey, right? So for the most part, with the exception of like federal tax planning, I practice in New Jersey for New Jersey business owners. But the answer to your question is more of a universal answer because it's true in all states. Okay, if you own a business, if you're out there in commerce, you're selling something, you're providing a service, you have potential liability that you can be exposed to. So operating as what we call a solo proprietorship, which you can't do that, the two of you, because you're partners, but you could be a partnership. You don't have to be an LLC or corporation. Exposes you to personal liability. So if you're dealing with somebody and you mess up, or something you do or sell hurts somebody, they can sue you, and they can sue you personally. So if you have an LLC, a limited liability company, and available, I think now in every state in the country, but certainly most, 98% of them, or you have a corporation, they have to sue the corporation or the LLC. They can't sue you personally, short of like committing fraud or things like that. But if you're following the rules, they can't sue you personally. Now, you also should have insurance. Obviously, you should have a business owner's policy, a basic business owner's policy that has liability coverage and things like that. But basically what it gives you is an attorney that's going to defend you by the insurance company if somebody were to sue you. So in very few instances do I recommend anybody operate as a sole proprietor. Okay. Now, maybe you're just getting started. You're toying around with your idea. You're a sole proprietor. Start out just your name. Maybe you register a name in your county or with the state, depending on how your state works. But very few people should really be operating as a sole proprietor, because to set up an LLC in most states, it's a couple $100. You can usually do it online. I wouldn't recommend that you don't use an attorney, but if you don't, you can go to some of these services like, LegalZoom, but it's giving me hives just talking about it. But you can, and for surprisingly, for about the same money you would pay an attorney to do it for you, they set it up for you and you get no legal advice. So be careful about that. But there are services out there that you can do it online and not leave yourself completely exposed. So that's the one side, the liability side, right? And there are some tax advantages, both at the state level and the federal level, depending on how you're structured. You can take an LLC and treat it like an S corporation for tax purposes. You can treat it like a partnership. There's S corporations, but that's a CPA, an accounting discussion with your accountant who's located in the state in which you do business, right?
Yeah.
The other side of it is if you have a partner or you have multiple partners or you have family members that you deal with, putting things in writing and having agreements is really important to the success of your business. First, it avoids problems fights between the two of you as to, you tell me Fonzie does more work than you. So he's winning the game. But I get a lot of times where brothers and sisters and siblings end up in business because maybe their parents started the business and it's not 50-50. It was supposed to be 50-50, but now one of the brothers is, going out and driving his car around and getting haircuts during the week and whatever. And he's not really doing his share of the work, and they have nothing in There's nothing in writing to deal with it. But you want to have the rules set when you're still friends and everyone's getting along, and this is how we deal with it. And you want to have things that say, okay, what if we don't get along? And what if we fight? How do we resolve that? That's true too. If you're dealing with customers, you have selling things to people, you should do it in writing. If you get to the point where your business is big enough where you're concerned, well, what happens if one of us dies or one of us becomes disabled or one of us wants to leave the business? You should have what's called a buy-sell agreement that addresses basically 4 issues. 1 is if you get sued. 2 is if you want to walk away from the business. 3 is if you become disabled and can't work anymore. And 4 is if you pass away and die young prematurely. Okay. So you deal with those things. You can buy, in certain cases, you can buy life insurance if you're young between the two of you. So if one of you dies, you're not in business with your brother or your friend's spouse, and she gets money to walk away. Sometimes that's not an option, but it's things to look at. So that's why it's really important when it comes to law to know the law and be set up properly. You also need to know the laws, how it applies to the industry in which you work, because you may need a license from the town or the county or the state in which you do business. You may need to follow certain rules if you're dealing with a consumer product, or maybe you want to protect the name. Content is profit, so you may want to file a trademark with the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office, which you can do online these days. You may need an attorney. You can do it yourself, but you can get a registered mark. Maybe you invented something. You want to get a patent. So the law pervades your business, whether you like it or not. So if you ignore it and just say, oh yeah, we're out there doing stuff, 9 times out of 10, something happens. There's somebody who comes into your life who's trying to take something from you or trying to hurt you financially or legally, and you're not prepared for it. So you got to do those things fairly early on. Once you launch and it's not a joke anymore, you should be doing, getting your own federal tax ID number, filing a separate return for the business, and have it set up that way. I see Fonzie's taking notes, so there's obviously
Fonzie's like,
yes.
So here's why he's taking notes.
Wait. I've taken more notes than I took in all my class of business law in the community college, right?
But here's why he's taking notes, because like he gets to be the creative and the fun brother, right? Like the integrator operator, like it's me, it's this guy. So I'm the one that
I gotta cover my booty right here.
I'm the one that's been handling all that for the last like 3 years, and this is so cool. Like we have listeners in New Jersey, right? Like so. This is so cool. So if this applies to you, please get in contact with Mitch. We're gonna put all the links right below.
And if you're not in my state, I'll find you somebody, especially down by you guys. I have a huge network in Florida. So
I love it. Nice. I love it. And as you were explaining all of this, I'm like, yep, I went through that, right? And it was we never had really knock on wood, a negative experience, but these are things that as we were moving and growing as a business, like we started to hire people, and then we're going through taxes and like, hey, do you have this in place and that in place and that in place, right? And for those that are running maybe a fairly small business, right, that this is not a thing that you might have thought from day one, I highly recommend go look into it, because what happened to me was I got presented with the thing that I had to do, and then this set me back operationally away from really paying attention to what I really wanted to do in the business, right? Like I'm being completely honest, right? Like it doesn't thrill me to try to take care of all of this, but we have to do it, right? It's the right thing to do. So I want to encourage you to take care of that early on, because you're gonna be set up to do what you love and follow your passion and with your business and serve more people, because you are protected, right? Like it's like that story, or that when you're in the plane, right? Like, and the oxygen mask come down, right? They tell you put your mask first and then put it in the person next to you or the kid, because you gotta be okay first before you take care of the others. So Mitch, thank you so much for this massive crash course on baseline. Again, like please.
That was just the beginner level.
Extra beginner level that clearly Fonzie missed in college. So.
Mitch, I love this. And just so you know, one of the things that I wrote here was haircut joke, right? Because you were talking about the haircut. I was like, clearly my brother is the one getting haircuts over here.
I know.
But Mitch, I love this, right? And it actually, I think this would be such valuable content. I feel like you can become the Robin Hood of entrepreneurs, man. You can create all this incredible content, educating people about business law, right? The importance of having everything in order when you are, building something that might be important to you, right? Yep. And my mind actually goes to this guy that I found on TikTok that he is not a lawyer, just so you know. He's a business owner, but he has experience with this type of stuff. And he creates these videos where he just like illustrates them on paper, and then he just records and has like and has like a voiceover.
Like whiteboard animation almost.
Yeah, but it's drawing.
Yeah,
like
he's
drawing.
so he just draws it on a piece of paper, and then he does a voiceover, right?
Yeah.
And when I saw his videos, I was like, man, this is so cool. Bite-sized, educational, about things that most entrepreneurs actually do not discuss. Because let's be real, most people out there online, they're discussing how to scale, how to sell more, right? Like all these things, because it's shiny. Exactly. It's the cute thing, right? But if you can make this content, right, in a way that people want to consume and they want to be educated, and the way you presented it to us is that, hey, look, there's a good amount of risk if you don't have these things covered.
Huge amount of risk, right?
Exactly. When people understand that, I think that's when you get interested. And again, going back to my college class, I did not see that. I'm not gonna lie, that professor didn't sell business law too good to me. Right? I mean, I just went in the class.
He's not a practicing lawyer. He's a professor. So that's the problem.
Exactly. Right. I was like, oh, man, like if you would have shown me the risk of not knowing this information, I would have been way more involved. Right. I probably would have been way more interested in that class. So I think I see you creating all this content, right, for people and getting them all excited about it, and you becoming an incredible resource for entrepreneurs. Now, that being said, you do create content, right? You're the host of the Accidental Entrepreneur, and I mean, what is it? Over 170 episodes? Yeah,
the whole staff. I do everything.
Look at that! Look at that! So where did the motivation to start that podcast came from, right? Like, why was it that you built the Accidental Entrepreneur? I mean, I can tell through your past, right? Tennis rackets, DJing, all these things that you need to do, right? How kind of like what the name comes about. But what motivated you to start this, and what is the purpose of it?
So you want the whole like dirty story and the secrets that have happened?
Yes, right? Of course.
Okay, so so as a lawyer, right? So I've been practicing for like 30 years, and it probably took me 25 years to realize that as a lawyer, you really should market your services and get yourself out there. And now with social media and everything, it's easier to get out there. But a lot of lawyers are not good at that. We don't get any training. If you go to most legal websites, they are billboards on a highway that nobody's driving down, and they don't do anything. And when you get to the website, they don't engage you and bring you into the legal world, because a lot of it's boring. So I listen to podcasts. I listen to a ton of podcasts, business podcasts, history podcasts, all kinds of really cool stuff that I found online that I kind of stumbled upon and over the years. And then about 2.5 years ago, I saw it, maybe it was a Pat Flynn video or something else about podcasting. And they said, you can start a podcast for $75. I've told this story before, so if anybody's listening. And I was like, don't you need like you guys, don't you need like a board and a studio and like a guy holding a mic over my head and doing the editing and all this stuff? So I was like, okay. And I had partners at the time, but I figured for $75, I could do whatever I want. So I got $75. We bought like a really cheap, like USB hub. I had a little laptop. We had a couple of these mics. They were USB mics. This is their XLR, but these are better mics now. And the sound was terrible. So I started doing this thing. So like you said, I said, well, what am I going to do? I know this great content. Let's help people if they need to do legal things on their own. Like you got to go to court because you got a speeding ticket, but you're not going to pay an attorney $1,500 for a $30 ticket or a $50 ticket. You want to negotiate it down, or you do have to sue somebody, maybe in your business, and they owe you $1,500 or $2,000. It's going to cost you more than that to hire a lawyer for your business, right? Now, there are circumstances where, as a business owner, you have to have a lawyer. You can't represent the company yourself. But for the most part, usually small claims court, you can, okay? So I was putting all this content together. I'm scripting all this stuff, and we're recording it. I had partners at the time. So a buddy of mine listened to it, and I said, what do you think of the content? He goes, oh, it's really helpful. And I said, well, what do you really think of it? He goes, it's totally boring. Nobody's going to listen. And I said, you sure? And he's like, yeah, it's freaking boring. It's important, but it's boring. So I said, well, that's not going to work. So he scrapped that whole idea. And I was talking to a friend of mine. He was my first guest. You go way back. You guys are on 202, right?
Yes, sir.
So I recorded 187 today. at 1:00.
Yes, let's
I'm
go.
getting there. So this Jack Killian. Oh, I got a little sound effect. Look at that. Jack Killian was my first guest. First 2 episodes. It was 2-parter. So I said, Jack, come to my office. We're going to do this podcast. He says, what's a podcast? And we're going to record. So Jack's like in his 80s now. This is a couple of years ago. And he tells me his whole story. Turns out he's been through the 40s. He was involved in starting Rolling Stone magazine. He ran 5 businesses. His dad died in the middle. There was $23 in the bank. They owned $2 million. He tells the whole story. Also turns out he went to my high school. Now, of course, before I was born, but he went to my high school and met his wife there. They're still together. Yeah. Small world. So he tells his whole story. So I'm listening to his whole story and I'm like amazed at it. And I was good at it, good at interviewing. So I said, you know what? That's what I'm going to do. We're going to tell the story of entrepreneurs and business owners and people in the small business industry that bring information and make it interesting to tell and share our stories and help people get a hold of their business about writing a business plan and doing all these things legally, but make it interesting. So that's where it started. And then one day I was like, what am I going to call this thing? You know, I was like, let's talk legal. I'm like, well, that's boring. So I was thinking of all these different things. And then you guys are young, but there was a movie called The Accidental Tourist. It was starring William Hurt, if you heard of it. And
I've heard of it, never watched it.
So I couldn't even tell you what the movie's about. It was a long time ago, although I did see it. And something must have popped up on Netflix, and there was like the accidental tourist, and they showed some other movies. I'm like, that's what it is, the accidental entrepreneur, because I get more people that come to me after the fact and they go, listen, I started a business like 3-4 months ago, 5 months ago, a year and a half ago. I got to shut down. We're going out of business. We got a lease. We rented equipment. We had all kinds of stuff. I don't know what to do. And I go to them and I say, well, what does your business plan say? And they go,
what business?
Well, I don't have a business plan. And I go, that's the problem. They're going into business without a plan, totally haphazard. So I said, I'm going to put the message out there that we're going to help people learn from all the people that have tried and failed and succeeded and so forth to get a hold of their business and improve. I'm a lawyer. I'm never going to guarantee anything. Improve their chances of being successful. And there are tried and true principles for you to follow to be successful from a legal standpoint. And with regard to what you guys do from a content and marketing standpoint, none of the lawyers do it. So that's the message that I am going. So when I guest, I talk about putting things in writing, and I do a lot of research on memory and how your memory works and why you never remember things properly and how the law thinks you do remember everything properly, which is a big problem. And that's what I talk about. And I enjoy podcasting. So that's become like the wheel, the center of my content marketing. And then I do blogging and I guest and I speak and I put together some ebooks here and there, and I'm working on a book. And so it all kind of feeds off of that. But that's kind of where I came from. And I'm not suggesting everybody should do podcasting. That would not be good for you and I. But if you really want to, if you like talking on the mic and you like all this cool equipment, it's not too expensive. Although your board's more expensive than mine. My board's only like $200.
We'll share about the board in a second.
So I have the Yamaha, and but I can't do sound effects. And if you enjoy that stuff, that's great. But it's something, if you're going to do podcasting, for example, whether you're a lawyer or you own a store or you cook or whatever, you want to be consistent about it. You can't write, like you guys said, content is profit. It's not because you put out one blog. You got to be consistent about it. So you got to do something that is something you can continue to do. When I was doing the podcast for law and I was writing things, it became very clear to me that in 6 weeks, I'm going to be out of content, right? I'm going to repeat what I'm doing. So when I hit the road with, okay, I'm going to get guests, I don't have to do a lot of preparation. They provide the content. I was networking at the time because of COVID and was finding guests everywhere. Now I've hit the circuit of PR people, promotional people that want to place people on podcasts. And I get guest suggestions, multiple guest suggestions every single day of the week. I'm sure you guys do too. Most of them I reject, but I do find some very interesting people, and they have businesses or experiences, whatever. And I bring some really cool people on to the show to talk about what they did as an entrepreneur, how they got started, what they're doing now, and share their ideas. And so it's become something that, like you guys are doing, 200 episodes has been sustainable.
Yeah.
I'm now trying to mix it up. I'm trying to do some series. Once I hit 200, I'm working on a craft brewery series, a distillery series.
Yes.
I don't know. Maybe we'll do businesses in Nashville, businesses of Key West, because I like Key West.
That will be so fun.
Businesses of, I don't know, we'll pick a town. Maybe we'll do it together. We'll do some towns down in Latin America and where you guys are from.
Yeah.
You guys are from Colombia?
Venezuela.
Venezuela, perfect.
Yeah, one of the probably most corrupt countries in the world, but
perfect.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll go for a good story. That's for sure.
Yeah, exactly. So you got to mix it up a little bit, but you got to be able to be consistent or else you're going to waste a lot of time.
Yeah.
Just saying, we have a project that we've been talking about that I think a law vertical would be pretty good, Mitch. So we're gonna have to talk about that.
Okay.
I love something that you mentioned, right? You said that, I think it was like after a few episodes, you were like, okay, what else am I gonna say? Am I gonna repeat myself, right?
Yeah.
And we were in a very similar situation to with Content is Profit. Episode 20 came. We're like, we ran out of things to say.
What do you do next? Yeah.
That's even worse because two of us, right?
Yeah.
So it would be like, okay, it would be like double the episode. Right?
But I will say this, and this is something that we actually learned after, right? Along the ride. You can craft the same message in many different ways, right? And a reminder that you are the only one that listens to 100% of your message, right? So somebody, let's say we're talking about what to do with your business if you die, right? A hook. I mean, you're not gonna do, but like, what other people? What other people are gonna do?
Right.
What do it before?
Yeah. I mean, did you lift anything in writing? Whatever. The point is,
if you're dead, this podcast is made for you.
exactly. So
that's the amount of reach we got.
But
we reach dead people, man.
we go beyond the living.
Yeah.
The point is, we can talk about that topic multiple times, and guess what? Maybe somebody caught it on episode 1, but somebody might have skipped the first 100 episodes, and when we reference it again and talk about it again on episode 150, they're gonna be like, wow, this is pretty cool, right? So sometimes it does get overwhelming, the fact that it's like, oh, I'm gonna have to repeat my information. And it happens when we are guesting on, even when we get different people on the podcast, because we share the same stories over and over again, right?
Yeah, me too.
So I just wanted to add that in there so people don't think they always have to be doing or saying something different, right? Because repeating your story, right, being top of mind is part of the process of
and I think you guys, it's been part of your message, and a lot of people don't realize this. You should be repurposing your content, taking snippets out, whether you're doing a headliner or you're putting, throwing a blog out or something on LinkedIn or whatever, just to share older episodes and bring things up. Yeah, I mean, whether it's a blog, I don't care what it is, you should be chopping it up and making, tons of stuff out of it. And you and I both know, if you have 200 episodes, you probably never have to record another episode in your life. You could just repurpose the stuff for the next 20 years.
Funny story. I had a call with one of our initial business partners, and in our adventure with content, right? And we're like, hey, we're talking about like an experience that's about to happen in a month, and it's like, how have you been, man? And I'm like, oh, I got COVID like 3 weeks ago, right? Nice. And we talked about this, right? I think you were the first interview of us like coming back to
he was the first one back after.
And it's like, man, like really? Like I thought you guys were like still like going, and that's the amazing perception of continuously creating and putting stuff out there, right? Because even though we were completely out for about 2 weeks as far as like public and content and creation and this stuff, the machine kept running, and the perception outside was that everything was moving forward, which it was, like production wise, right? But content wise, it was still out there. So I want to encourage everybody, right? Like, let's figure out a way to create that safety net. Now, I want to highlight something that you said at the very beginning.
Sure.
That I think is super important. And is I love that you brought it on. You said that you were consuming podcasts, right? Yeah. And then you decided to start there, right? And I think that has to be highlighted big time, because the content that we consume is content that we enjoy. Right. Now it's gonna the friction level to produce that is gonna be a lot less than trying to tackle a new platform, right? So a lot of people out there, what happens is, oh, okay, I gotta create content, right, Mike? Okay, and then they start looking online. what to create or how to create, like what is the shiny object. Should I be in TikTok? Should I be in this? Should I be on that? Should I write a blog, right? And there's different steps that we have to follow.
It can get overwhelming pretty quick.
Well, that's what I tell people. If you're a good writer and you like to write, do blogging. If you want to be on video and do some funny stuff and do a little video, you go on TikTok or YouTube.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, whatever fits you, because you're right. It's a marathon that you won't be able to run if you don't enjoy it and you're always looking for stuff. I've gotten to the point where I really don't have to look for stuff, but I'm just like you guys. I schedule stuff out. I have episodes recorded and ready to go out through September. End of September, actually. And you know, you can schedule it all. You can schedule your blog posts. There's ways to do that, to have it come out. You don't have to be that day. I mean, you guys do live content, but you don't have to be that day posting and sending out your blog. You can schedule your newsletter, your email, your posting, the whole thing.
But yeah, man, like I think your story is so powerful because you're also in a market where this is not common, right? Like I don't know, maybe it's becoming more common, but it's not. Like we had a conversation with a local lawyer.
What, in law, you mean, in the legal profession?
Yeah. So we had a.
The only ones are service companies that service lawyers and trying to reach lawyers. There's one guy in the Midwest. His name is Mitch, actually, Mitch Jackson, and he's got a podcast called the Mitch Jackson Podcast. He's the only guy I've found that has.
Yeah.
There are probably others, but I'm not.
You know what I feel why this is so important, right? Like in the world that we live now, right? You have a decision to make, right? Like if you're a business owner, there's a lot of decisions that you gotta make, right? Like I come home and then Katie's like, "Hey, what do you want to eat?" I don't know. You make the decision because I made so many decisions. It's decision exhaustion, and she doesn't think that's a real thing, but it is. Anyways, so to make a decision, right, we have to be educated, right? Like clearly, if you're an entrepreneur like Fonzie doesn't pay attention to business law class, that distance is gonna be way bigger, right? So that's where you come in because you are feeding information to get to that point. At the same time, you're building trust, you're building rapport because you're likable, you have the show, you're being consistent. That line of people, there's going to be people ready to buy 9 months, 6 months, 3 months, 1 month, tomorrow, right? And then those people are going to start feeding through that line of education that you're creating to get to your point where you can really help them with their business. So this is why it's so important right now. If you're any kind of business, service-based, any kind of business, this is so important that you need to be publishing and putting your message out there. So Mitch, I want to say thank you because you're the example of this and you are doing it. And I'm so excited that we were able to connect.
So on that topic, I'm curious on what has been the impact of publishing and podcasting in your business, right? These relationships that you've managed to build.
Well, it definitely took a while. I was getting a lot of play. People were commenting who knew me and knew my networks. But now, since I've been doing it for 2.5 years, enough episodes and information has kind of passed around, sharing of posts and things like that, that I get a lot. I get leads all the time from people. I get referred. They're like, well, this person told me about this because they heard about this and they listened to your episode or whatever. And it's not always direct. A lot of it's indirect. But you have to keep going. And also as part of the podcast, and you should do this for any content you're putting out, I've built an email list over the years. So I have, 2,500 plus on the list, and I'm always adding people and trying to connect with them and have them subscribe to the newsletter, which they're more than welcome to do. They go to buyandhackerlaw.com. The thing pops up I think, at the beginning.
With the links right below, all you got to do is scroll down.
And mine pops up in the front. So but you got to do that. That's part of the whole process, right? You can't just put content out and expect people to find it. You want to create a keep in touch program. There was a book I read years ago. I just recommended it to a friend, that the current version. And they were like, oh my God, I've been looking all my life for this book. So write this down, Fonzie.
You're ready.
It's called The Referral of a Lifetime. It's like 100-page book. It's a story. It's written like a parable, like a lot of these, gung-ho type of books. And it's a story about a woman that goes into a coffee shop. She's struggling with a business. She goes through this journey of meeting these 4 or 5 different people who all give her suggestions at how to keep in touch with your customers, with your contacts and people, and how to build a keep in touch list. Now, 15 years ago, it was hard. You had to send out postcards. You had to mail to people and send out. Now it's easy with email and everything, but I highly recommend the book. I don't get paid for it. I don't even know the author. And it is all about building a keep in touch program. It even has a sample letter in there. Like if you say, well, my God, I haven't, reached out to all the people I know in years.
Yeah.
there's a sample letter to say, hey, listen, we haven't done a good job of keeping in touch with the people that are important to us, that we do business with, that we love and care about. But I'm making a promise to you now that will not happen again. And I've taken the liberty of adding you to our mailing list. If you want to be removed at any time, you can unsubscribe, that type of thing. And it's a powerful message because a lot of people miss that step. What they do is they create content, especially lawyers, and they post it somewhere, or they write a blog, or they have an ebook or whatever, and they do repurpose it sometimes, but they're not building a list of people that are raising their hand and saying, hey, keep in touch with me. So people hear from me twice a week because of the podcast, sometimes more. Some people unsubscribe because they're like, Mitch, I don't like to hear from you so much. I'm like, okay, but I stay top of mind. And that's really important when it comes to, doing all this stuff, because that's how you stay top of mind. You got to stay in front of people.
Yeah. Absolutely. I love that word. Top of mind. Well, that's 3 words.
Just one word. Top of mind. Top of mind.
Yeah, that's one word.
But I think it was like about 3 weeks ago, I was reading this book about networking, right? And probably the phrase that stood out the most was kind of like that typical phrase that a lot of people say is not what you do, but who you know, right?
Always. Yep.
Well,
always.
In this book, they added one extra piece, which was, it is not what you do, but who you know that knows what you do. Right.
Yeah.
And that is so important. And
so important.
Podcasting is a great tool for that, right? So managing, actually getting to know more people, and they now know what you do, plus what you're sharing right now, which is how do I manage that relationship after, right? Because that, and I think that's a very important point that a lot of people miss with podcasting, which is there's a relationship after the podcast, right? That you can leverage, and not only you, but for the sake of everybody involved, right? You can give them referrals to them. They can give you referrals to you. Maybe there's no referrals involved, but maybe one of the other becomes a client. Who knows, right?
Or they just share your episode, and eventually it gets to somebody who reaches out to you.
Exactly,
That's
right?
There's
so much upside, and there's so much missed opportunity right there. I mean, I cannot tell you how many times we've talked to people where they're like, how do I get in more podcasts, right? And we're like, have you asked the people that you've been on their podcast if they got somebody else that they could introduce you to,
right?
For example, and they're like, wow, I never thought of that. And it's like the most simple thing, right?
And there's all kinds of guesting sites where you can register for free.
Exactly. So I find it, I mean, I love the relationship aspect of podcasting, even content creation in general, especially nowadays. You start seeing it. It's very trendy, even on the music side of things. All the music that's coming out is collaborations.
Yeah.
And they have their own podcast shows, and they go on these morning shows and whatever, but they're all doing collaborations. Is the name of the game. Whether you're going to do YouTube, whatever, collaboration.
Right. I've done a lot of collaborations with other podcasters and stuff. I was telling you before we were on with I was on Esar Metis. I was on his podcast, the E-Tribe.
Yeah.
And we were kind of doing a dual episode, so we both released the thing. But he said to me, and I knew this already, but he said to me, when you do this stuff, especially podcasting, it's like magic. If you just keep doing it and you're just putting out good content, you keep connecting with people, it all comes back. And it takes a while. It's a long game. It's not a short game. You can't do it in a month. But you get out 6 months, a year and a half, and you're still putting stuff out. It starts to really, really build momentum for any business, because people, like you say, you build rapport, you build relationships with people. They're listening to your voice for, even if they don't do it for more than 10 or 15 minutes, but they're doing consistently. Then they subscribe to your podcast and they get all the episodes. I turn on the car half the time and your guy's voice jumps in. I was probably listening to a podcast and it pops in the middle.
I'm sorry about that. No, Mitch, I want to be like, I want to bring like a real tangible example of this. Like this just happened yesterday, right? Like, so we have a local relationship with a studio owner. Like, so he owns this studio where people go and record shows in there, right? Like where we used to have the office, right? He was like next door to us almost. And then he went to a bigger space and we kept in touch, right? He brought us on to his first episode of his own local show. I mean, this guy has been in radio for years. He has a broadcasting company, like super awesome dude. And then but we never like brought him, like, you know, it, like we offered and he's like, no, I don't think it's like my time or whatever. And then we booked a guest on.
He was waiting for the time to shine.
It's a time to shine, right? And we're supposed to book a guest, Jerry, by the way, he just ignored. No, I'm kidding. Jerry's a cool dude.
I think I was just listening to that episode.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So we're supposed to go to this studio, and then Jerry reschedules, right? He's coming next week, but Gary was there. And we're like, Gary, let's do the episode with you, man. Let's talk about podcasting, right? And he was like, absolutely. So he jumped in and we did it in his studio, right? So we interviewed him at his studio, podcast suite, incredible stuff. And then we're like, we send him the content. He calls in. He's like, hey, you guys, can I have the video? Can I put it in my website? Absolutely. Let's do this collaboration, right? We put him in there. And then he calls a couple days later. He's like, guys, I just need to say thank you because like the video that we created together has brought in so many calls because we were asking him things about his business, right? So he's like literally active, like educational promotion / awesome experience, and brought all this business, right? And good rapport. And then now we have a free pass literally to go to his studio and record literally anytime we want. And obviously we're going to promote the heck out of him, right? Like, but these are the things that are business relationships. And now he serves the market that we serve, right? So it's, at some point, if there's somebody that needs that, he's going to do it. So we want to encourage everybody, like what Fonzie's saying, what you're saying, like the follow up, make sure that communication is there. And it has to be a genuine follow up to make sure that you are adding value to that other person. That's one of the reasons we have a surprise for our guests after the show. So just
maybe not.
I get a parting gift, like for those contestants.
I guess you'll see.
We'll see.
Yeah, you're gonna have to keep an eye. I
could use a new roadcaster. That would be
good. Look, imagine if that'll be the present. Imagine you get to your home right after a long day of work, and
it comes in. Yeah, you need a bigger sponsor than the Biz Bros for that one. Come out of your pocket.
Who knows? You know.
Nah, that doesn't make financial sense.
Roadcaster.
You want to get someone else to pay for it.
Yeah.
True.
Hey,
that is right.
Yeah, Road. We're giving you a shout out here. Give us 12 a month. Okay, that's all we need because like we got 12 guests a month. Anyway, so I just wanted to give that because I mean that has been so beneficial on so many levels, right? And you practice it. We've learned it along the way. We wish we would have known this like 3 years ago, right? And I think that's the real return on your investment is that one. Other than that, just like posting, whatever.
Right. No,
TikTok
relationships. I mean, look, through Podmax, I met you guys. I've met so many friends through different events and just getting in touch with people. I met a guy who does certain kind of tax strategies through one of the episodes. He's heard it and then he said something on LinkedIn and he turns out he lives in the town where my son goes to school. So I went, dropped him off. We had coffee awesome. And I've referred him to people in California, all over the country.
So amazing.
Wow.
So
that's
it
amazing.
all comes around. Yeah. It's all about networking.
I love these stories. These are amazing. Mitch.
Yeah.
Let's get into some action points in here for the entrepreneurs that are listening, right? I know for a fact that they are with pen and paper right now, waiting for you to tell them exactly what to do next, right? So if you can leave them with one action point, right? And actually, let's leave them with two. One on the business law side of things, because I know everybody needs to get their things in order.
Yeah.
And one on the podcasting side, right? Content creation side. What would they be?
Okay, that might be a tougher question, but the legal side, I would say to them, let's assume that they already have their company set up, right? So they're already an LLC or a corporation. If they're not, go ahead and set one up. Don't be a self-employed. Yeah, that's dumb. Okay, but they should make sure that they have, I would say, first a business plan. If they don't have a written business plan, you're kind of winging it all the time. It doesn't have to be some formal thing in a binder with colors and graphs and charts. Just an operational, strategic guide to how you run your business, who your people are, what your market looks like, your marketing, your finances. Do a business plan and use it in your business. If you do, and you already do that, my second thing I would say, make sure you have your operational documents. You have an operating agreement between you and your partners, your family members, customer agreement, things in writing. Don't do things on a handshake. It's really, really dangerous way to do business. So that's on the law side. Okay.
Perfect.
The other thing was the podcasting. So what am I going to say about podcasting?
I mean, you have 100 and what was it, 84 episodes now?
I think 187. Yeah.
187. So I'm pretty sure we can find something in there.
Something will come
Yeah.
out.
Well, if you're interested in getting started in podcasting, first I think you got to decide: do you want to, learn about podcasting, be a producer as well as a content creator, because you want to control the content, the creative process, and there are ways to do it where it's less intrusive to your life than more intrusive, or you really just want to get on the mic and talk to people or say what you want to say, and then go out and hire a team like yours to do the editing, do the promotion, and get it all done. Or you could do somewhere in between. Probably they could have you guys do the promotion and they could do the editing. I don't know, but you got to figure a way to do it where it's sustainable, both from a financial standpoint, it makes sense, and you can keep producing content, and you could do one or two every couple of months, just reuse the content, like you said, keep putting it out there and spreading around. That's probably the biggest piece of advice I would give people.
I love the fact that you said make sure you can keep producing the content, right? And we often talk about the minimal viable content, which is a framework that we kind of discover, kind of stumble upon as we were complicating things, right? We were adding so much friction to the first podcast that we tried to start, which at that moment it was called Brews and Bros, right? And gladly it didn't work out, honestly,
because you were drunk all the time. That was
exactly. That would have been an issue there, right? I'm pretty sure that would have created a lot of maybe some operational problems in there. We would have need your help a lot sooner, Mitch. But I love that, because when you find out a process that works for you, that you can maintain for the long term, I feel like that's a huge win, right? Because again, and you mentioned this earlier, it's a long-term game, right? If you are going to do either podcasting or you're going to do any sort of content creation, it's a long-term game. You cannot expect to put one piece of content out there and be like, okay, where's my money?
Right.
It doesn't work. Exactly. So I really appreciate those tips. Just so you guys know, we're gonna leave maybe a cool surprise in the description. So make sure you scroll, tap all the links, follow Mitch everywhere. Mitch, where can they? I almost skip a question.
I was about to call you out, but
Okay, what's the
question?
Mitch, it is probably the most important
question of the entire show.
Where would you be if you did not publish?
Where would I be? Well, I'd still be here, but I would have no business. And like a lot of lawyers, you're scrappy about it. You're reaching out to your buddies. You're going to the bar events. You're talking to people. You're hoping that you run into somebody and find business. But you need to have it's part of your funnel, right? Because regular content brings in regular business. You have to have a regular stream of business. I would be struggling because I've been there.
Yes. I love it.
And we have been there too.
Yeah.
The wake up call was meeting with 8 people, and they were like, where is your content? And we were like,
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's an epiphany. And hopefully people learn from you sooner. They don't have to go through the pain that you went through, or me, where I was like, how come I'm not like, people aren't just knocking on my door and they need legal work all the time. There's thousands of lawyers out there, but they call me not because I'm the best lawyer. I am the best lawyer around, but beyond that, they don't call me because I am a good lawyer, but there's a lot of people out there just because they think of me or they heard about me or they listen to a podcast or they heard me on your show or they got recommended from somebody. You have to have all these things going on at the same time.
Yeah. That's I love that. And the fact that the reason why we ask that question is, to put it in perspective for people, right? Because sometimes they push it too long. There might be, some fears, some false beliefs here and there that are stopping them from starting their publishing journey. Yeah. And, the sooner they can get it started, the sooner they can get things moving and into momentum is going to be better for them. So that's the reason why we ask this question, right? Honestly, every single time we ask it is also a reminder, right? A reminder is like, wow, we cannot stop, right? And hopefully for you, Mitch, as well, it makes you look back and be proud of what you've done. 187 episodes, right? That's absolutely amazing. So
But
Thank
you know
you
what,
so much.
Luis, Fonzie, I because you're both Luis. I do want to say one thing, because the guy on my podcast at 1:00 today brought up a point I thought was a really good point, and you just said something, right? I don't want people to take it that they got to write a business plan, they got to do all this stuff as a reason for them not to do things, right? You can't wait for all the lights to turn green to head towards town, because it's not true. It's not going to happen. You just got to get out there and do it. The podcast wasn't what it is today right from the get-go. So you got to start putting out content. It won't be perfect to start. Your message will change. Your branding will change, but you have to do it, because preparing to do it isn't getting you anywhere. So I don't want people to take the message from me that says, well, Mitch said I need a business plan, so I better sit down, spend the next 6 months writing a business plan, make sure it's perfect. Don't. Keep running your business and do that at the same time.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Fail forward. I love it, right? I mean, we're going to make mistakes. There's going to be challenges, and we learn along the way. But yeah, just like you mentioned, if we wait to have it perfect 100% to launch, we're never going to do anything.
Nope.
So just get
and you guys
started.
didn't do it either. Your whole thing progressed.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, Bruce and Bros, we try to make it as perfect as we could. I guess how many episodes of Bruce and Bros are out there published? 0, a big fat 0, right?
Yeah.
It's like they're in the vault. We've mentioned them so many times that I'm sure that we're gonna get an immense amount of money at one point for somebody that's gonna buy those episodes.
Yeah,
Be
it's
like,
a Netflix special to be a series.
Yeah, exactly.
Limited series.
By the way, like I'm gonna put this out to the universe. We want a sitcom of the Biz Bros and everything.
Oh, you guys would be great. You got that accent, and it's funny.
I know.
Yeah, definitely. If you need a a guy to represent you, hey, I'm your man.
Let's go. All right. Yeah.
You're top of mind. You're top of mind for us now, Mitch.
Let's go. Mitch,
and when you sign that deal with Spotify too, I'll look at the contract for you.
Let's do it.
Let's make it happen.
We're gonna kickstart our rapper career.
Well, you're a rapper. What? Mitch, where can people find you? Where can people connect with you? What's the best way?
The website's buyandhackerlaw.com. I'm actually in the process of kind of splitting off my personal brand from the website, but right now it's buyandhackerlaw.com. There will eventually be mitchbuyandhacker.com, but you can follow the podcast and me on social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I think we put it out there. Probably those. I think I have a Pinterest account, but I don't think I've posted too much on it. So, but I'm easy to find. And if you go to the website, you can join the mailing list too.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Mitch. So that is www.beinhackerlaw.com.
You got it.
The crowd just went crazy. Good job, man.
Thank you. I did crush spelling bee growing up. Just throwing that out there.
There you go. Well,
not like I was watching it in the computer.
No, you did that from memory.
For those missing, like if it's Fonzie spelling, it's gonna be right below. You gotta do is scroll down, click the link right there. Easy peasy. Technology makes it so easy, guys.
Absolutely. I just wanted to spell it because as I was writing the name, I put a C in hacker, right?
Some people spell it with a C, and they are related to me, but it's
So I didn't want people to make the same mistake. I do want people to find you, Mitch.
Right, I appreciate it.
Mitch, as we wrap up the show, anything else that you want to add?
No, I think we've covered a lot of stuff today. I'm excited about working with you guys, and I'm excited about what people can do for podcasting. And if you got any legal questions, send me emails, and I'm always available to chat. And I do Zoom calls for free. I'll always do a 20-minute, 30-minute free consult. If somebody wants to talk about any kind of business problems they're having or tax planning or whatever. Always available.
Let's go.
My calendar is on my website, I believe.
Yeah.
Let's do it, guys. Go hit him up. Use him as a resource. He is absolutely amazing. He's going to teach you the ways. He's like, Mitch, you're like the Jedi master of business.
Yeah, right.
From now on, it is. That's what it is.
Not to put too much pressure on me or anything.
Exactly.
Hey,
not to put too much pressure.
We talked about the new personal brand, the Jedi master of
business. I can wear a stormtrooper hat from now.
Let's go.
Yes, absolutely.
That was the initial hook of the whole show. All right.
Look at that. Full circle, baby. Full circle.
Yeah, it's Friday. Mitch been up since like 2 a.m. I've been up since like 3 a.m. Fonzie, you slept in all day today. So with that said, thank you so much for tuning into the Content Profit Podcast. Go ahead and follow the show on your favorite platform and on social media at BizBrosCo.
That is right. And if today's guest, aka Mitch, the Jedi Master, help you move one step closer to your goal, please don't forget to share this episode and leave a 5-star review. See ya.
Bye, guys.